Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Alisha Braché here at Cosmic Gateway. This will be the energy update for December of 2024. And I will follow up with the intuitive insight guidance. So if you're new here, welcome. I've had a huge influx of new subscribers, so I would love to extend my warm welcome and thank you so much for being here. If you're not familiar with my work, I will encourage you to connect to the links below. I will be working throughout most of December, so anyone who may need additional support, guidance, energy work, please feel free to connect with me. I would love to be here to support you for what I believe is going to be quite a impactful, energetic month ahead. I think we've already kind of creeped into this. It is a rainy Sunday afternoon here in Melbourne, Australia, as I'm recording this. So I hope that you're all doing well. I do feel that this may be a shorter video. What I was told was this is going to be a shorter video than usual, because there will be a lot more to share once we pass around the midway of December. So right now, the highest level of guidance that I've been encouraged is to rest for what is to come. That has been on repeated loop now for several days. And what that means is anyone's guess. But let's go through some of the current themes that I'm witnessing and observing in my own experience, and of course, through client sessions and people that I have been in contact with. It's been quite interesting. So, one of the first things that I have become aware of is there's a lot of incremental light that's coming in. So I think I had about 3 days ago woken up and literally I could feel and see the light quotation just pouring in. And I knew that wasn't just for me personally, that was something that was coming into the planet. And it was quite like it felt like a real expansive, liberating energy. And it was like, oh, that feeling or sense of freedom or weightlessness, lightness. But then that was then followed by about 3 days of being feeling very heavy or very disconnected. And so the way that the energetic field feels for me in this process is I think as that light came in, I think we're going to get increments of that building throughout December. And what keeps coming through to me is we're leading into a sort of a galactic alignment, if you will. Now, this has nothing to do with astrology. This feels like there is some things taking place out in the cosmos that's allowing this filtering of this light frequency to come in. That's in essence, it feels like it's helping people break free of patterns of limitations, of restriction. It has real freedom codes to me, and feeling that within ourselves, within our lives, and of course assisting to the liberation of this planet. But as that it's like a really potent, powerful white, silvery, even with specks of gold frequency that are coming in with that. So it's a real downpouring of purification. And once that sort of came in, it feels like the field is very, very full. Since then, it feels like it has been able to um, impact or penetrate into people's field to start to break. It's like a dismantling or breaking down of perhaps, I'm just trying to find the right words for it, harsher walls or harder to reach energies that I guess hits people's blind spots that they can't necessarily see for themselves. It feels like it's bursting light into that that's starting to break down and unravel that. And as that's occurring on a collective level, there's a lot of mental chatter, there's a lot of mind chatter, and that speaks to me. I feel like the true ascension process really kicks off as a very overstimulant mental process, and then it moves more into the emotional and then into the physical embodiment, and we go through that cycle numerous times. But what that says to me, it's hitting people who perhaps aren't as consciously aware of their own internal process, perhaps people who are aware of many things information wise, but not so much aware of their influence or their own internal processing. And I'm witnessing that in people who perhaps don't have the skill set or the tools or the want or the impetus to want to dig deep in what that really means for them. And it's hitting sort of a more of a masculine energy, a more sort of structural energy that's creating this unraveling process and effect. And what I have been seeing a lot recently is that we all hold like an energetic structure of a false matrix within our field. We need that to survive here. Like we come in with that, or it's created in our infancy stages of, being here present on this planet to adjust or align into being able to be human in this reality. And a lot of people are, whether they're conscious of or not, that false matrix frequency that's almost like a caging is starting to dismantle. And I've been working with that. I feel like for most of the year, that's been a personal theme of mine of being able to completely unplug any energetic cords that may have me interwoven into any sort of programming, false limitation matrix system, energetically, physically, on all levels. And I think when you dive really deep into that process, you come into this space of like, huh, not much to do here. Like, I think I touched on that maybe a video or two ago, coming into that boredom or stillness. But I think what really helps facilitate that process is the emerging of the creative process that can emerge through single pointed focus. When you get to that and you're not really not wanting to be overly social or overly engaging, not really stimulated by any sort of external information anymore. It's really coming back to the internal process of what it is that you can create through that. So art has been a real savior for me, especially in the last few months. I've been creating lots of huge pieces just in that sort of intermittent phase of knowing that it's not really ready to, the energetics aren't yet ripe enough to start full blown projects. I feel like that energy is coming more so once we tip into 2025 for a lot of people. So it's about being able to work with the energetics. What I found is whatever's coming through for the projects that will be collaborated with and created in 2025, starting to work with the energetic overlay of that and bringing that into some sort of physical form, whether that's writing or drawing or painting or creating something that brings a tangibility around it. And these are the foundational steps that then allow us to be able to construct something of newest value. So I feel like I'm jumping all over the place. So I do apologize. That's probably going to be the theme. I feel like this month in particular, I may hold two soul journeys. I feel at this point I'd like to hold a soul journey liberation on 12/12, and then I haven't got the theme yet, but I would love to hold or facilitate something on December solstice as well. So keep an eye out for that. I don't have the details yet available, but they will come available. So just keep an eye out if you'd love to come and join in and be a part of those soul journeys and connect with like-minded souls. As we go through a process. So, yeah, it feels like there's two tiers to it because there's this deconstruction phase. And I think a lot of people are getting to like that really core. It looks like this internal cage that shrunk. It was once out here and it's like shrinking down. And the key of it is like what I've been accessing is pulling shards out of the heart space because that's where we can then come into this more full alignment or energetic embodiment with our soul, our higher self. Now, I believe that in November, I may have been talking about this soul walking upgrade process. So that has been an ongoing theme for myself and I think many others. This, for me, is the first time I've witnessed it in a very gentle and slow pace. Normally it comes in hard and fast, like boom, huge energy just drops in, and then it's unstable. It hasn't been able to be fully held because it comes in so rapidly. And when you're charging out that much frequency, um, the body tends to fry out. You can't necessarily hold it, or there's a lot that rattles to the surface because of what's not in an alignment vibration with that. So this has been a much more subtle, gentle. I can feel it coming in incrementally, and I've been in my own process constantly focused on that, um, of pulling in and calling in those energetic tethers that are connected to um, my consciousness, bringing it and pulling it back in here. So with that white essence energy that I was talking about, I think that is creating space for that to allow to come more fully into resonance. And I had this experience probably 2 days ago, perhaps, um, where I was sort of sleeping or in the in between. I wasn't fully out to it, but I was like, in that in between space that we are between sleep and awake, kind of aware what was happening. And I could literally feel like, and I think I talked about in November video, the pieces of the puzzle coming together. It feels like that's the internal pieces of the puzzle now, because I could feel pieces of my energetic framework being rebuilt or coming back in specific parts of my body. That process has been ongoing, and what I'm being shown is myself and probably many others that connect or resonate with this are building this more solid form, energetic light body to prepare for the next phase of what is to come. That can be held in a strong and solid way, an unwavering way that can, it's like building a vessel that can contain so much more of our consciousness energy, because here is where the real work is kicking off and beginning. So calling a lot of our fragments back that have been operating in different spaces. And I know that so many people that I work with go through these long periods where they feel very disconnected or absent. I'm certainly not a stranger to that. Go for long periods of time where there's a lot of vivid dream space and you feel that you're not fully connected into this present reality, because there's more of your consciousness that is operated in another or multiple realities, but it's always tied and connected into this timeline that we're working on anchoring in. So whether that's clearing obstacles out the way and doing a cleanup work to help facilitate this part moving forward, for some others, it can be about aspects or higher aspects of them going out and retrieving information and data that's going to help move them forward when the time's right to come back in fully. And some of it can be, deep healing work that takes place that can't be fully accessed by the conscious mind here. I mean, there's so many reasons why. Um, but one thing that I will highlight, and I would love to hear in the comments section if you're resonating with that, you feel like you're, very connected into your multidimensionality and less present here for a period of time. We go through these phases. I know that I probably go through these phases, or at least I have done, at least consciously aware of, for maybe 8, 9 years, at least once a year. Firstly, it started off as only being a few weeks, and then as I got more equipped to kind of dealing with that, those periods went for much longer. I feel like when we're going through that, our energy isn't as concentrated here. So then we're more susceptible, more sensitive to collective energy. So I think it's really important, if you are navigating one of those spaces, to do as much energy clearing or meditation as you can incorporate into your daily practice, and change it up a bit, because it may not be sitting in meditation. It may just be sitting on the grass, or, going for a hike or a walk, something that's going to keep your energy cleansed and feel, because when we're less concentrated here, we can be quite scattered in our energetic field, picking up from the collective space, or loved ones, or people in our local environment, we're a lot more um, we're less um, we're more, yeah, movable in that way. What else do I want to talk about? This weird warping and strange time anomalies. I know that I'm not the only one. I had a interesting conversation with Soul Brother yesterday, and I said, I'm just this time. It feels like we're totally out of time, and I've probably while this energetic process is happening, but many mornings I wake up, I couldn't even tell you what year it is, let alone date, time, month. It's very warped and strange at times. And there was probably a day and a half where I truly felt like I was operating in 2026. And it was interesting because I'll share with you because that came through. I've had several futuristic dreams um, that are showing sort of potential, I'll say potential pathways of different projects and work. But every time I tap into that timeline of 2026, it's a very different world that we're living in. It's very pristine. It looks something that is a little bit futuristic yet organic at the same time. Everything just has a iridescent essence to it. So for me, that says that we're well and truly over this threshold, or at least many are. I think that will be an integration process that will take time for everyone to migrate into, but certainly we're in times like no other. And so, yeah, going back to these strange time anomalies, like I've noticed that I will look at the clock and then I'll look back and I'm like, where did the last 4 hours go? It just like that, like time's going very quick and then slow. But the one thing that got me was I was out driving and I had my headphones in. I was listening to a podcast, and the interviewee mentioned a specific experience that had occurred. And I drove for 5 minutes and then she started talking about the same thing again. And I was like, oh, that's really strange. Like, why would you bring up something that to me seemed relatively insignificant? Why would you highlight that, twice in an interview in such short space of time? And then all of a sudden I was like, hang on, no, this is like looped back. And I listened, and yeah, it was the same conversation that had played out. Now, it wasn't listening to an intro and then, into the interview. It was literally part of the interview that came on this repetitive loop. It was like there was a jumping that occurred. And I've noticed that I've tried to stay off the road as much as I can, because when I'm in those spaces, everything feels a bit warpy. Like space and time and reality feel a little bit warpy at times. Like nothing's real, but everything's kind of, it's interesting. Just hmm, there's a bit of a disturbance that happened. Sorry, it distracted me. So I'd be so curious if you're. I don't even know what to call that, but the jumping, the anomalies, and I think that that's a very ripe time when we're in those spaces where it's like in a timeless state, in essence, or where our consciousness is perceiving outside of time is when we can make the most jumps and leaps. Um, Another thing that has been coming up, just trying to think, it's like just got completely wiped. I'll have to come back to that. That's just jumped out of my mind. Ah, could I forget? All the UFO sightings all around the world in the last week or two. So things are very much ramping up in the galactic spectrum, the sightings, the UFOs. What I have felt into is, or the message that has come through, is there is so much traffic out there, far more than we could ever perceive of what is happening out in space right now. Um, and I think these sightings are going to reach a peak crescendo that's happening with this, a galactic alignment that's coming up. The galactic alignment, I don't get specific, but it always feels as though it happens within a 3 week period around December solstice into mid-January, but I'm being shown it sort of gets taken out to more about a month. So it's in that time frame, but I feel like there's critical points along that is when I say a galactic alignment, what I mean by that is it's a highly activating time where you can potentially start to receive insight, information, activations, high frequency. That time period of time is when the gold frequency really starts to come in. I've gone through that experience now for like 3 or 4 years in a row. In and around that time, there's huge influx of gold frequency that's very elating, and I think that kind of sets the tone. But I feel like we're moving into a different time where it's more manageable, more able to ground and assimilate from, and this keeps coming up. It's like all the work that we have laid out, that we've been preparing for, that we've put in the work, put in the yards, like we're starting now, we have a much more stronger and stable foundation to kind of start to actualize into the coming year or two, which is really pivotal, critical shifting into new earth frequency, for as many people who are ready for it. um whew, I think what else. There was one or two other things that I was going to bring. Oh, apparently with all the galactic or the UFO sightings, apparently, I don't know what is true, but I did get a message from a friend of mine that said that the telescopes around the world have gone mysteriously gone offline. This comes at the same time as mass UFO sightings taking place all over the world. Um, so for almost 24 hours, Hubble Space Telescopes and James Webb Space Scopes website have gone offline. So that just goes into detail about, and I think we went through, I feel like we've already been through that in 2017 or 2018, where some of the space stations like switched off. But yeah, this whole sort of, um, it almost feels like a grand reveal, and how that's going to come through, I don't know, but I feel quite excited. And it's always around this period of time where we do get the most galactic alignment sightings, viewings, and personal experiences. And I think that there is a lot of benevolent light beings that wish to make contact with individuals that's going to kind of spread into a more of a global disclosure, because we need, I believe, this is my personal opinion, I think we need as many level-headed people that can help others navigate and make sense through their own personal experience, that can be sort of grounded and level-headed to help others navigate through it that may get a bit rattled. So I don't know, it feels really ripe as we move through December into January to have your own personal experience, or maybe it will be a collective experience. Who knows? Anyone's guess at this point. But I know, and I can feel right in the center of my core that something really big is brewing. I've had this narrative that has kind of been repetitious in my head um, for a number of weeks now, where for so many years, when I've had new clients that have come, connected with me and shared with me about their awakening story, the line that I've heard so often is, in 2020, when X, Y, and Z happened, that was like a real wake up call for me. I haven't sort of gone back since. 2020, as we know, was a huge initiation and global awakening process for so many people because of what happened. I feel like that in at least in my experience and timeline has closed off. And it's interesting that I'm noticing that a lot of things that have happened within that 4 to 5 year framework or period of time is really closing and collapsing out. And it feels like we're starting in this new trajectory. But I do feel like that is going to come with some sort of global, the next level of global initiation. And I don't feel it's going to come in the form of virus or anything like that. Obviously, there's a lot of conflict um, that is occurring, but to me, it feels more from the sky. So, I spoke about towards the end of this year how we'd have the water event, we'd have the sky event. I do believe that the mass sightings that we've just gone through in the last few weeks is the sky event or a portion of it. And so I think this energetic event is what I'm talking about, is this more galactic alignment where these frequencies coming in are going to be allowing the activations of those who've been potentially quite dormant um, and unconscious to their true nature of who they are. People being able to get a glimpse into their soul reality or the true purpose of why they're here. It feels like we're in for a ride, and it's like everyone who's kind of gone through those phases is like holding holding the space and allowing this sort of catch up phase to complete, because it feels like there are critical people who've chosen to stay dormant. It's like we need those key people now to start to come online. So it's almost like rejoining or reconnecting those people and allowing them to go on their sort of fast tracked pace through the ascension corridor. So I think that's all I'm feeling into for now in terms of updates. As I mentioned, I'm going to try and keep this video a little bit more shorter because I feel like there'll be a lot more information to come through as we get to the middle part of December. So, let's get into it, shall we? The intuitive insight guidance. So, this here is A, if you've chosen this particular one here. Oh, that one just reminded me. Sorry, before we go into it, the other energy that I feel is strongly at play and maybe not accessible for everyone, but this will like ping if it is for you. There is this cosmic womb of creational energy that is now starting to be accessed. Now, you don't have to have a womb. This is not female specific. This is pure cosmic creational energy that resides within many of us. That feels like it's being open or activated in the sacral area for us to really connect with. The vision that I'm getting is like the pull forward. Now, I've been doing this process now, and I'm going to maybe even open up specific sessions for this, is working with just connecting with the frequency of what 2025 represents and just spending a few minutes a day just immersing myself in the colors, the tones, the frequency, the essence of that energy, and starting to work with that. And that feels like very much that portal to the cosmic womb energy, that ripe, creational, fertile energy. Because I feel like as we connect with that, that's kind of sitting in the center, it's allowing us to pull through some of these more murkier thresholds as we're kind of moving through this embodiment stage. So that was the final thing. So I feel like there's so many different elements and aspects at play at the moment. So anyway, let's get back to the cards. If you have chosen this one, this is artwork A, and we'll go into that was probably a bit of a segue. That feels like the activation of the cosmic womb, creational energy, we'll call it that. Um, Beautiful, fertile energies that allow to play within the creative realm, or to allow the creative genius within you to really step up and emerge or re-emerge in the form and shape. It feels like there will be coming online or coming to you um, materials or technologies, uh, different mediums to be able to work with. It's like maybe you've had certain ideas of things that you've wished or wanted to construct, but you haven't known necessarily how to bring it into form in the way that it is delivered to you. So this feels like being able to really sit with that and start to call in the ways and means. And I'll give you an example. Like for a long time, I've seen this holographic technology of like computer systems where we can interact with this more holographic software, if you will. But it feels like I keep getting the merge between consciousness and technology. It's a benevolent technology that has light quotation to it. And there's so much more that we can do with it because it's connected into being able to read not algorithms, but consciousness. Now, I don't know how that works, but whatever your field is or your creative endeavors, it feels like there's going to be more opportunity for you to create more innovative, impactful, and what's the word I'm looking for? Progressive, um, one of a kind, unique differences, because there's more input to what you can actually work with. And this may just be through the resonance of your own vibration and refining that, and then just going back to working with what you have, but it just has so much more vibrancy to it. So maybe reconstructing or coming back to previous projects and injecting more energy and life force into them, perhaps. So I've just pulled three cards from what's this? The Lemurian Beyond Lemuria deck. So we have number 16, which is loving compassion. That up there. This speaks to me about heart opening or heart expansion and being able to do the work to really purify whatever's in your heart that's non-coherent with expansion, love, compassion for yourself, being able to forgive the nature of harsher relationships that seemingly damaged you or hurt you in some way. So maybe in your own inner process to refine your frequency to bring that into your creativity. It's being able to explore previous relationships or connections or people who've had a strong influence on you from the past and being able to reconcile that within your own process to bring more light or compassion energy towards a situation, which brings a wholeness back into you, and also it does the same for that person. um it feels like a splitting apart what was broken to re-examine it, make it whole, place it back in. And it's like by you doing that or taking the lead in that allows it to happen spontaneously for the other person in their own way, which will help you bring back wholeness in wellness into you. So we've got the journey of wholeness. So see how all those different energy strands just coming in and allowing this complete completion completion of journey of cycles, of phases of disappointment, things that feel like they have lacked benevolence in your life. It feels like there perhaps has been some stormy, dark, heaviness that you've carried because of whatever life circumstances has brought you, but it feels like you get the opportunity in this month to really make a peace or reconcile with that and no longer have that weighted impact on you, to kind of be free, be liberated, and to be able to move forward in a more complete and whole way within yourself. And that then opens the doors to whatever wants to come through. It feels like creating space ultimately. Um, oh, how interesting. Then we have the harmonic flight card, which is very, oh, look at that, very looking in the mirror of the resonance, the frequency match, the infinite nature and the light codes, or the activations that allow that to be restored. So it feels like perhaps throughout this month, and I know that this has been happening a lot for quite a few people, of like this reconciliation or unthreading previous energetic ties in past relationships, or this may come through in dream space. I know that I'm certainly not the only one that goes through those periods. I think we're in Mercury retrograde too. That can also bring up a reevaluation um, of past circumstances. But this is impactful relationships or significant others that have maybe not even been romantic, but have had a strong impact in the foundation of who you are today. You know, being able to make peace with that, and yeah, bring back a level of wholeness or peace or clarity within your own heart, which creates space for new opportunities, perhaps in love or connection, or a higher level of, I think for some people who may be paired or in partnership, who might be watching this, it feels like the opportunity to bring more soul energy into the relationship dynamic, which then brings like this magnetization where perhaps things have been not in sync fully for a while, or yeah, just kind of like doing your own thing. But it feels like there's this potential of bringing in much more uh, loving existence that reignites purpose, passion, and opens up ooh, communication lines to have, you know, more vulnerable intimacy. And take this as you will. It just feels like you and another that has a strong soul bond. I feel like you know this person. I don't think that this is new, or at least, yeah, on a soul level, it's certainly not new, but it doesn't feel like it's new in your life. Um, maybe for some, so take it as it resonates for you. All right. Expect miracles, Mother Mary. We have, oh, Magdalene. A lot of feminine. Ah, okay, liberation. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm really drawn to the star over the third eye, and also in this wholeness. What I was really drawn to in that imagery is the star above her head. So really connecting with the energy of the soul star essence, recovering new memories, soul memories that help you make a greater sense of understanding of purpose or the nature of certain relationships and connections, and how things have been placed or situated in your life. It feels like that might have an air of importance to you. Wrapping up different contracts and karmic cycles, particular lessons. It feels like it kind of like a little bit of both, straddling two worlds at once, because it feels like you're wrapping up certain threads or energies from previous relationship learnings and cycles, but it's in essence or ultimately creating this greater space and capacity for you to hold so much more and be present within true bonds or connections that are pivotal in your life moving forward. And it's like, well, what do we do with this now? Well, where are we heading with this? It's like it's almost like a data download of of a future trajectory coming in for the two of you as you start to connect into like I was going to say it connecting into a loving embrace, whether that's physical or energetic, but it feels like there's this third Trinity frequency that's sort of coming in for the two of you to receive and then to start to work with. And then obviously we've got the Mother Mary and the Magdalene card. And the words that come through with that is like just expect this miraculous. When I connect in with the frequency of Mother Mary, I get the energy and essence of that blue frequency and expecting miracles, transformation in the physical. Um, but it's also very soft and gentle. So I would say encourage you to really embrace the divine feminine energy aspect of you. And what was I saying in the beginning? You know, connecting to that cosmic womb of creation energy, which feels really ripe and potent to be able to hold or contain or access that ripe, fertile energy in whatever it is that you're being asked to create. So we have the moon, yearning, desire. So as I'm recording this, we're currently at the new moon in Sagittarius, but the full moon would be, I imagine, well, 2 weeks from today. So it'd be around the 14th, 13th, 14th. And I think that one will be in Gemini. Yeah. So perhaps making note of that on your calendar to do something special around that time of really being able to embrace loving or yearning desires of what the true aspect of you wishes to connect with, experience. Um, After that, we have the Wheel of Fortune, so change and action coming in for you through that. Perhaps even acknowledgement. I feel like when I talk about that, it's almost like an acknowledgement of giving yourself an acknowledgement of what it is that your heart truly desires and go beyond the mediocre. Allow yourself to embrace what is truly destined for you. Let's get one more card. Oh. So we have the Two of Coins and the Chariot, the inspired warrior energy. So it feels like a bit of fiery energy moving forward. The cash flow energy feels or talks to me about potential growth in prosperity and abundance, but it is balancing two aspects of your life. So it may be a job and a side project or some form of two forms of income and being able to balance and work with both of those. But it feels like that the chariot is like a fast moving energy moving forward, direction focused action or direction, and through purpose, inspiration and courage really feels like it comes up highlighted there. So yeah, a lot of different interwoven energies for the month of December coming up, but I hope that that has inspired you. I hope that it's helped or resonated. And I wish if you feel like you would like to connect with me, please find all the details in the description box. Look forward to connecting with you in some capacity, and if not, I will see you in the next video. All right. Okay. Now let's move on to B. This card here. So if you've selected this particular artwork, let's see what wants to come through. So straight off the bat, it feels like it's a very watery, emotional energy. Feels like there's a lot of emotion that's coming to the surface. A lot of nostalgia, a lot of memories. Being around water provokes certain memories and helps to clear and purify. Um, but allowing yourself to step into a gentle, nurturing, loving space, quietening the mind and connecting with the elements of the earth is really going to help you process whatever emotions are coming up for you. It feels a little bit like isolation, a little bit like loneliness, misunderstood, perhaps. Um, because it to me it feels like there has been a barrier or a challenge to be able to go through your own path of awakening and reintegrate back into the world. It feels like the community or the space in where you're living does not necessarily have a resonance or a frequency match to you anymore, which is a little bit hard. So it feels like moving out of the inner circle. It feels like whatever the inner circle is to your rhythm or routine, it's like branching out even just a little bit beyond the parameters of where you usually go to allow you to open up to a broader range of inspiration, places, connections. It feels like this month is more about branching out and being open to establishing new connections, friendships, formulating, finding like minds, and surrender to the process. Look at see the two circles, so the inner circle and then the outer circle, and like trying to bridge between or move through those. Like this feels like a real flow state of really being able to embrace your true self and who you are and be that out in the world because it feels like this is a different time now, maybe where you've done that before and things have felt a bit clunky or off for you, a little hard to integrate. It feels like it's coming into a more ripe time where going out into the world is a whole new, different, expansive experience because there's more resonance and alignment within your field to be able to connect with both worlds. See that? And bridge the two. It's like the message that I feel really strongly with this is now to interweave and start to bridge the worlds together. The world of the unseen spirit, your it's funny, I want to say your fantasy world. And I don't mean that. I mean that your inner world of consciousness expansion that may seem like daydream or fantasy for some, and being able to like sprinkle or spread, immerse or yeah, immerse, share some of that energy in ways that make you feel comfortable initially, but it feels like there are people that you have yet to meet that would be at a huge benefit of coming into proximity of what you have to share, the specialness that you hold. And it feels like it is quite reciprocal in many ways. We have the next card is the Soul Star chakra, merging with the divine. Oh, take all of that in. I would recommend, as that comes through, is take the time in your own meditation practice to really connect and pull through the soul star chakra. I believe that our soul star chakra really contains our soul blueprint, our mission, like the this thing that we wrote for ourselves and we signed up for. And so it may be if you're feeling apprehensive of coming back into, you know, the ways of the world or coming back as a part of the hero's journey and reintegrating if you feel at, at a loss of how to go about that or any any area or aspect of your life, maybe contemplating and meditating on the soul star chakra to get more guidance and information. And just as I say that, like a strong image has come through of like someone drawing a star and like sitting with that and amalgamating the different aspects of them that they've kind of consolidated within them. And it feels like that star energy starts to come to light with different coded information as you can. It's almost like if you sit with that and continually work on drawing or fleshing that out or creating a piece of art in your own way, just to extract the information of directly connecting with the soul star chakra, it's going to provide you a lot, almost like scriptures and rolls of information, but very practical, guided information, not so much esoteric information, but like the next phase of the unraveling of what is the instruction manual of the next phase of your life. Okay, so we have water. Did I say that in the beginning? It's very watery. So we have number 12, water, the overflow. So I think emotional processing is key or pivotal, highly important for you at this point, but it's going to benefit you overall to give you, our emotions are so misunderstood by so many people, just because how we've been brainwashed in society to not honor the emotional component or aspect of us. But that is the pure, or one of the most important ingredients in our creational process, is to be able to work with the energy of our emotional body. Our emotions are a huge part of the creation itself. So being in tune with that and connecting with water, connecting with the element of water, and just allowing the purification of your emotions is going to be able to tap into more depth. Coming back into the soul star, more depth of energy, information, vital instructions. It feels like imagine for a second, imagine living this way of being able to tune in and connect in and go, what is my mission today? What is the most important thing I can do? And this is vastly how I've lived my life. What is the most important thing I can do today that serves the greater purpose of my mission? And whatever that one thing is, I follow within reason, of course. But what if you were to put that into practice and into some of your guidance, and connecting through water? What can that open up for you? Just be in the infinite realm of possibility to start to have new experiences, because it feels like ultimately that is bringing in new fundamental connections into play for you. And I feel like these people you're going to inspire or help in some way, but it's quite reciprocal. It's at least two people, key people, and it's a quite an empowering connection. We've got the Seven of Coins, so we've got the unknown opportunities that await, that allow coming, that can even help to bring in financial windfall or some sort of monetary or prosperous, some sort of material gain that is unforeseen. But it feels like it's through these people, through these connections that wish to be established into your physical life. And it helps to heal the heart to some extent too. We've got new career moves. Ace of Coins. This might even open up into some sort of new endeavor or project. But it almost feels like giving a helping hand to someone else who is establishing something, being able to offer. Feels like you have something on offer that you can gift or give. Feels nice, actually. It feels loving, uplifting. It feels it feels like there's a level of acknowledgement there, or truly being seen, uh, uh, of who you truly are, not just surface level. And it feels like that is worth its weight in gold. And so we've got the Three of Wands, dreams of change. I think that to me directly speaks to the two others, or maybe potentially three other people or individuals that are coming in some way to come back and mirror to you how far you've come, the person that you've grown into, and that mm, establishing connections that are based in truth and authenticity can be. It feels like, no, I got the internal embrace card too. So it could be also romantic connection or partnership, even though that card doesn't specifically relate to that, but I did pick that up from that card. Um, it feels like someone who has been on a very solo journey for quite some time, like very little social interaction, being off in sort of solitary and just, yeah, re-emerging as a new version of self and having that reflected back through the connections that are being established and the, the infinite possibilities that can come as a consequence, not consequence. Sorry, I'm losing my words, as a offshoot or an onflow of that. But we have, yeah, the internal embrace and the lovers card. So there could be this, um, what comes to mind is being able to be comfortable in connecting and meeting with new people. And if you're not in a connection, a love, commitment, or connection, that potentially is then allowing that to open up and unfold for you. Um, because it feels like breaking the barriers or the guards down a little bit. All right, let's finish this reading off with the final card here, the serendipity card. Once again, we've got the star going on up here. So yeah, really lean into that star energy or that star-like quality that you have in your energy essence. So the serendipity card really speaks to paying attention to the synchronicity, the events, the things that lead into the bigger events, the small anomalies, the impetuses, like go here, go there, contact this person, just following the signs and the synchronicities that allow. And this is an unraveling process of a couple of months, I feel like, but the ball really starts to kick off and get rolling in the month of December. So it feels like moving into a more social, prosperous, and community based time for you moving into the new year, but really kicking that off and starting that in the month of December. So I hope that that helps. I hope that that resonates for some people out there. If you feel like you'd like to connect with me for an individual session on one of my soul journeys, all the details will be in the description box below. If not, I will see you in the next video. All right, so just going to close out the energy there and we'll get into the final card C, which is this one here. So if you've chosen image C, let's dive into it. So this one is the Trinity energy. Just give me a second. I'm just going to tune into. So obviously, the first image that I get is of the peacock. So this is my my version of peacock feathers. I'm working on a much larger piece of art that incorporates the peacock energy and essence. I'm refining my skill at the moment, but yeah, really connecting with the energy and essence of the peacock. And that has many different connotations to it or symbol representation. Some people talk it about as royalty. But through my digging, what I've ultimately found is a part of the peacock frequency is two things. A, it is um, the embodiment of the ascended being in all its grace and glory. And the peacock frequency to me is being revealed as a accessing the frequency of miracles, dreams, wishes coming into fulfillment. So stepping into quite what could be quite a magical time almost has this hesitancy essence to is it too good to be true, but just roll and flow with it because I don't think it's going to be completely smooth sailing, but there is like a crack in an opening that is inviting you to step forward. And what I see with that is like almost a tear in the nature of reality. And it's like this crack of light being able to come through. And it's almost like you can pierce through the veil to be able to see beyond this dimensional realm. It's like you get a glimpse into your future, you get a glimpse into your potential, you get a glimpse into being able to access otherworldly realms and utilizing that power and potency and the potential in a very wise manner. It's almost like don't tell anyone, just be in the magic as it unfolds and act surprised when other people catch on. I don't know where this is going from, but hey, um, it's like I don't know. I just have a really elated feeling, quite excited because it feels like you get to peer beyond the curtain, the nature of reality to see what's really, really going on. And it's like you get a backstage or behind the scenes pass. And with that, obviously, there's certain level of gifts and abilities that switch on or activate within your being to be able to go through that experience. I almost feels like having your own contact experience in whatever form that is, but it's like through that, as you're interfacing with that frequency or those beings, you have to become that more evolved version of yourself. So certain psi abilities start to take shape and come on more potently. Perhaps you already have them established, but it feels like a amplification of gifts and abilities that come on perhaps in even unexpected ways. I mean, this may not just be the traditional like amplification of your third eye or the clairs. This could be like activating taste, smell, senses, things that you haven't witnessed or seen before that you might have to like take a step back and go, oh, well, hang on, what's going on here? So, all right, the cards. So we've got the Sun card, awards, camaraderie, and affection. So we've got the Sun erasing consciousness, connecting with the Sun frequency, the gold frequency, illumination energy, feel yeah, uplifting, revitalization. We have the Wheel of Fortune, so change and action. This feels like culminating or coming into perhaps your luck hasn't been as with the wrap up the Wheel of Fortune. If you've been in a really action based, prosperous, sort of high end of experience, then you go into the cycle of kind of withdrawing, more introverted downtime. But this one feels like it's a much more expansive time, whether that's around people or not, that I'm not sure. But it feels like if things have been a little dull, a little bit boring, a little bit, mediocre, it feels like that's about to kind of, yeah, this quantum tear in the fabric of reality that I'm seeing is going to blow your mind. Okay. Kind of off the cuff, but nine, we've got the relate nine of cups, the relationship bliss card. So this is like feeling your best, being in alignment, feeling proud of your it's a truly it's an emotional fulfillment card. So it feels like whatever this experience is, or maybe just prior to this experience, it feels like there's a real essence or energy of fulfillment that's starting to come into your being able to access that level of fulfillment within yourself. I'm so curious what this is going to look or feel like. All right. So we have the Fool, spontaneity, taking chances, and then we have the Ace of Cups, so new love energy coming in. Those, so yeah, it's charging forward. Sorry, charging forward on a new pathway, taking the leap of faith, charging ahead, and daring to be different, bold, and a little bit eccentric in your own right. And this is opening up to a new, this could be taken in multiple ways, but in essence, opening up to a new love relationship connection or a new cycle in love. But it can be opening up to a new cycle of emotional maturity and acceptance and emotional equilibrium. Okay. Huh. Funny, I said this is going to be shorter than usual, but we've tipped over the hour mark already. Let's see if we can. Hmm, okay. Let's grab three cards from the Beyond Lemuria decks. The first one is Beyond the Mind. I feel like this kind of experience that is opening up to you feels like, well, it's a little bit psychedelic, but I don't think it's in any way, shape, or form through any form of psychedelics. It feels like it's a natural state of your own consciousness that you're able to tap into quite unexpectedly and to allow yourself to go into full experiential mode and go beyond the limitations of the mind is where you're really going to get the most benefit out of that experience. The crown chakra, so the unlimited self. So yeah, I feel like this goes beyond chakra systems. This feels like cosmic, um, being able to go into a very almost heightened or expanded or expansive state. But we've also got the root chakra too, number here, so grounded and centered. But it feels like you're able to maintain or navigate through that in a very grounded and practical way. It doesn't feel like it upends your life in any detrimental way because it feels like there's a level of secrecy to this, like keeping it on the down low. You may be even interacting and having these experiences while you're in the presence of other people, but you're not overly sharing. And that's what, because you're able to see it and witness it, but be very, it's like you can flicker back and forth into having this very out there experience, but level headed and grounded in the practicalities of things, whatever that means. All right. I don't think we've got any more coming through here. Let's go the other deck. See what this got. Oh, okay, half a deck. Let's try. Let's try that again. Oh, past lives. Okay. So this card indicates that there is a level of energetic clearing or healing that is taking place for you, that is resolving past life. I want to say connections, past life energies, past life experiences, traumas, wounds, and potentially all happening within the dream space. So it may not be conscious within your mind. You may be experiencing some of the mental or emotional outbursts or pouring. And perhaps that's part of this experience, is being able to see beyond this like kind of very limited reality and seeing beyond. It might be able to then be able to tap into um, other past ex experiences or versions of yourself, and maybe that of others. It just feels like there's a lot of abilities that are coming in strong and fast. We've got the love card and we've got the illumination card. Feels like I almost want to say with this energy, it feels very magnetizing, illuminating. It's almost like by being able to go through this experience, it accelerates a lot of light within your physical body. So you may have certain days with the aches and pains of the body trying to process and upgrade. But it feels like it creates a magnetism within your field that makes you quite appealing to others. So you may find just like going out doing the groceries that notice people staring at you. It feels like there is this upswing in your field or illumination. So one thing I would say, just to be conscientious of that, obviously when we activate certain levels of our abilities in our light body, we do tend to or can attract in, you know, other energetic beings, whether they're in human form or non-human form, that like to come in and observe or scramble the field. So just keep that in mind. I don't think that's a massive thing, but just keep that in mind as you go about this experience. And the other card that I pulled that I haven't, sorry, I'm still shuffling, is the love card. So you may find this feels like more of I know we've had certain sort of love energies come in and out of this reading, but this feels like being able to access a deeper resonance of love frequency within yourself. So, of course, if you're in a connection or relationship, that's only going to be able to amplify and to support that connection. But just that feeling of like untapped potential of love frequency, it's not bound by any sort of limitations of a person or a connection or a thing. It's like this free love energy that just kind of envelops you and just illuminates you ultimately. It feels like when I was talking in the energetic update about this galactic alignment that I feel is coming in, it could be in connection or relation to that, but it feels like a certain level upswing and giving you the ability to tap into experiences previously not known to you. So it feels like a bit of a wild ride, but a fun ride. So I'm going to leave that there. I hope that that has helped or resonates, supports anyone who has tapped into this information. Thank you so much. If you do wish to connect with me through the soul journeys or through a private session, all the details will be in the description box below. If not, I look forward to connecting with you in the next video and sending all my love for the month of December. Much love. Bye bye.